Brothers and sisters, that we are addressing these messages to, as you have seen us started doing now, we'll be sending in short clips, which are going to be audiovisual, and then they are complementing the efforts that we have been doing online, and indeed the appearances that you have been seeing on the TVs like Africa 24 and other outlets in Canada and Senegal, and they are geared towards sharing views with you, the audience. And this is your brother Essa Bokarr. And our aim on this clip is to balance the misinterpretations and the misrepresentations that are coming from the Gambian President Yahya Jammeh and his regime, which is indeed a regime that is a misfit on the geopolitical arena. And you do hear them these days make reference to people they want to desperately qualify as terrorists within the concept and the context of people whose perceptions are definitely derived from diminished mental capacity, beginning with him. The fact of the matter is that where the Gambia government sits and tries to analyze terrorism is where decency challenges indecency within their circle. And for them, it is a question of being undemocratic, trying to pelt stones on people who are democratic. For them, it is being ruthless, but at the same time trying to pelt stones at people who are individuals who care and share. For them, when they sit back and throw such jargons out, it's not a vision, or neither is it geared towards consensus. Their position is one of those that are strange and then that are definitely part of an image which is a misfit in any shape and form as far as politics, morality, decency, and righteousness is concerned. In the minds of people like that, what they consider against anything that is going to stop their ways and means that are meant to hijack a nation and then turn it into personal property and then turn it into a zone or a territory that is going to be governed by fear. Those are the individuals they turn against and then try to label them. In all honesty, it is a good thing to see them start a circus, because as far as politics is concerned, as far as morality, and as far as sense and sensibility, as far as anything associated with diagnostics or, serious analysis or research is concerned, such regimes are what cause terrorism itself. When you have people like President Jammeh trying to sit back and draw in the columns where he thinks he can list names of people that he would tag, it definitely shows you that he is denying people what he wants them to accept for him, and that is freedom of expression. If he really believes that he can sit back and say things in the way he thinks they are appropriate in his mind, I wonder why it should offend him or anybody associated with him to hear a different opinion from another party. If we sit and see a president who stole power in 94, who in fact is still sitting on a chair as an offender, and if one is to go by what law says from all sides and all angles, here is a person whose file is indeed cold somewhere, but not forgotten. I mean, he is a person who should be charged with treason and treasonable felony, because that's what he did in 94, but decided to turn that into being a messiah. In Jammeh's mind, whatever he does is right, whatever another person does against him is wrong. And that is why some of us who know him very well would never sit back and relax and just say that it's just another part of it. It is indeed not a part of it, because the lines or the criteria that qualifies any person to be democratic or undemocratic are there. Anything contrary to what consensus accepts or what leads people to a common ground where they will all sit and understand that respecting one another's opinion is definitely should precede, in fact, any law. Where law is set aside only to safeguard the interests of one or two or a few people, that law is not the law that decency expects from anything that is derived from jurisprudence. Indeed, the reason why we have laws of the jungle, and indeed why we have martial laws, and we have decrees that are coming from pariah states like his. So for that matter, we in the Gambia, those within and outside, are appreciative of the fact that there are people who listen to the voices of dissent within and outside. And then by looking at the body language or the utterances of Jammeh, I believe there is no need for any person to ask if he is qualified to be called a responsible leader. Well, the opposite of responsibility is recklessness. His actions, his utterances, and what he stands for, even an infant who goes to elementary school can easily associate that with recklessness. When he came to power in 94, he said he uprooted the PPP regime because of rampant corruption and abuse of office. But he could not justify excessive abuse of human rights anyway. But under Jammeh's watch today, it's not rampant corruption that we have, but we have rampant, excessive, and reckless corruption. So if corruption was to be revisited as a word by the people who created it in English language, I think they would have given us one that would be higher and in magnitude, or that would be more fitting for Jammeh. In fact, I believe sometimes I'm one of those people who really believes that considering the nature and the characteristics of people like Jammeh, I think leadership should be redefined in both concept and context. And if anybody can jump up at head of state and then you call yourself head of state, I see no difference between Yahya Jammeh and Sheku, the leader of Boko Haram. Yahya has hired people from Liberia, like Swandi Kamara, and then he has been working with every kind of a person you can imagine, from the mercenary to the drug dealer to arms dealers. We all remember the days with Victor Boot and others. So in a situation like that, in West Africa today, I am going to honestly say here that there is no way that any system in the world can curtail the illicit flow of small weapons, heavy weapons within that area when we still have a replica of Charles Taylor and Samuel Doe, in fact worse than Charles Taylor, Samuel Doe and Idi Amin combined in the person of Yahya Jammeh. And we've all heard him say, or in fact his own people saying that people in the West are being supported by certain forces, and then now he's trying to jump around to qualify that as a terrorist attack. I think he knows the soldiers under his watch. He knows how many of his soldiers are involved in so many coups and counter-coups, and he very well knows that the people that he groomed and taught them are bringing back the same medicine he taught them how to brew. Well, he is the one who created the Chickas. He is the one who created the Junglers. And he is the one who created the Greens. You can see on the day of the 50th independence celebrations or anniversary, the pictures speak for themselves. You could see people who are very young, in fact, people who are less than 10 years running behind his car. And those people are groomed by him and then nurtured by him. That means they are, they are grown by him, I would have said, groomed by him, and then nurtured by him. And in their characters and characteristics, you can only detect evil, see evil, and feel evil. These are the very people who are in his army, who stand up against him, sometimes escape, come back, because they know how he survives by the day. They know how what he taught them is not right. Most of these people he is throwing words at today, or pelting stones at today, calling the terrorists in Western countries, lived with him, worked with him, and did things with him. So they have traveled, their eyes are open now, they have seen the difference between decency and indecency, they have seen the difference between freedom of association, freedom of assembly, freedom of expression, and where people's freedoms are stifled. Therefore, they have decided to stand up to make those within the country taste what they have tasted, feel what they have felt, see what they have seen. This is what is disturbing Yahya Jammeh today. We will be making these video clips now onwards. We'll be spreading the message to all corners of the world to make them know that what we have in the Gambia today is definitely not what is expected in a democratic country that wants to find its place in 2015. For that matter, the types of Yahya Jammeh cannot be part of any process to fight against terrorism, particularly in West Africa today. He's done enough, he's participated enough, and we know what he has done with Charles Taylor, we know what he has done with Fode Sanko, we know what made him turn his back and then come to kneel before mercenaries like Suande Kamara and rehire them to do a job for him. Such an individual is definitely not qualified to call anybody a terrorist. In fact, going by the video that he recently provided to, or in fact produced, therein any court of law could use it, because he openly was saying that those people abroad that he has not given amnesty to, do they think they're safe where they are? I think I would advise those brothers that he's pointing fingers at, trying to make sure that they go to court or whatever, to use that and expose it to their lawyers, because his utterances are equivalent to a menace coming from Boko Haram and any other organization that looks like him in both form, shape, and character. So therefore, the Gambia government is a misfit on the political arena, of the world or on the geopolitical arena is a misfit where democracy is expected, is a misfit where decency is expected, and is a misfit where anything related to consensus is expected. Now, what people want to create in the Gambia is that system which understands that power is derived from the people and determined by the people. The moment we reach that stage, that would be good. And then he would stand out there telling people at a certain point of time, when he was on TV one time saying that, why would you people want to change a good leader? The answer to that is very simple. Changing that good leader to a better one. Anytime the better one comes and progress is matching evolution in the Gambia, we will also want to tell him that we want to change the better to the best. And then as we progress, we will also be ready to change the best to excellent. I believe at that time, people will come to know that power should be derived from the people and determined by those very people. Therefore, President Jammeh, all I can tell you right now is that your threats are monotonous, your exigency is monotonous, your hallucination is monotonous. Try to find a way for yourself to understand that there is life after the presidency, and vacate before time pushes you to vacate. Because when time pushes you to vacate, definitely truth is going to be tried by time, but not the authority you are abusing at the moment. Thank you, brothers. This is your brother Essa Bokarr.